Happy Monday and welcome to another episode of WBAG's Off the Bench. I'm your host, Vance Ballard, and as always, we're presented to you by the good folks over at Buffalo Lanes Family Entertainment in Mebane. Make sure you stop in and see them 103 South 5th Street in Mebane. If you want to get out, but get in this summer and beat some of that summertime heat indoors, they've got 18 state-of-the-art bowling lanes, a full arcade, and 10 duck pin lanes for the younger members of your herd. The in-house restaurant, the Pig Pen. Now, that'll make sure you head home with a full belly as well. Once again, that's Buffalo Lanes Family Entertainment, 103 South 5th Street in Mebane. Stop in, tell them WBAG sent you. It's Monday, folks, and you know that means it's time to get off the bench once again. We've got a very special guest joining us today, head coach of the Southeast Alamance Stallions, Coach Tony Aguilar. Coach Aguilar and I sat down for a very fun conversation. You're not going to want to miss it. He's got some exciting stuff on the horizon for this upcoming football season. But before we dive into it, I want to make sure you remember to hit that subscribe button, leave a like and a comment down in the comment section. Helps us continue to grow the page, interact with you guys a little bit, and hear about what you guys want to see more on the WBAG Sports page. Folks, it's time to get off the bench.
It's time to get off the bench with WBAG Sports, Alamance County's premier sports coverage since 1947.
All right, joining me today, coming off the bench with us here, a very, very special guest, head coach of the Southeast Alamance Stallions. No longer the new kids on the block. I think we've moved past that point, and they're just Southeast Alamance now. Coach Tony Aguilar. Coach, first of all, thank you so much for sitting down with us today. How are you? How are things going over at Southeast?
Hey, man, things are going really, really good, and I appreciate you taking the time out of your day and schedule to kind of do this for not only myself but everybody in the county and just get Alamance County football rolling. It's here, man.
That's it. We're right on the doorstep of it. We're right in the middle, actually past the middle. We're towards the end of June now. July and August will be here before you know it. The 21st of August will be here before you know it. But before we get there, Coach, let's start a little bit about last season, something you and I talked a little bit about going into last year, the move up to 5A. I think you called it moving up to the big boys or playing big boy football as we were going into it last year. What was that transition period like? Was there a transition period? Did you notice anything from your players, from your coaching standpoint, as you guys progressed through your first 5A season last year?
Great question. It was kind of similar to our first year, when we started 3 years ago. So, they threw us right in the fire. We didn't play a JV year like a lot of new schools opening up do. They threw us right in, and we were just kind of excited, and the new kids on the block, and kind of took our lumps early against the non-conference. And once we got in the schedule part where we were able to play teams about our size and enrollment, we did fine in the conference. And then year two is kind of like, boom, here we are. Kind of had a really good year. We went undefeated and, just had a really good year. And then here comes 5A, and it's like, oh, boy, they're a lot bigger, a lot stronger, a lot faster, and it was kind of like the first year all over again. And I felt like, we held our own and had a decent year, but we were able to find that these guys were – a lot of teams were going one way. Here we are, gotten almost everybody going two ways, and just the overall depth that I think everybody around were able to have that we did not have. So it was definitely I ain't gonna say eye-opening because we kind of knew it was coming, but it was something that we were working towards. That's where we want to be as we enter year 4 this year.
Right. Well, if you touched on it, you said it right there. You're going into year 4 this year, kind of building the program at Southeast. Obviously, you guys started it from the conception there. Do you feel like going into year 4, has the foundation been laid for the program? Do you feel like you've kind of established your culture there, or does it still feel new and like you're in that building process to you? Where are you guys at in that phase?
Again, this is our first senior class.
Okay.
And that's something people, I guess, don't realize. This is our first group. So this group went undefeated at Hawfields. These are just Hawfields kids.
Mm-hmm.
We did have a couple move in. but these are Hall Field's kids, and this is the first one. This is the first group that some of the kids came from Eastern, some of the kids came from Southern, and we don't have that. These guys are all homegrown kids and in our area, and so that's exciting. It's been exciting to watch just their bodies and their mind and their just spirit, everything develop over these last 4 years, and this group has come a long way. So a lot of these guys played since they were freshmen. We threw them in, like I said, early when they were young, and they kind of found out real quick that they got to get in that weight room, they got to get bigger, they got to get stronger, they got to get faster. But here we are, and I feel like just mentally and physically, we're able to take on that 5A demand in our schedule.
Right. Speaking of the schedule, we're almost through June, as we talked about there. What has the spring and the summer looked like so far for you guys? How's it been going on the field? What type of workouts? You just more focused on installs, fundamentals right now, or are you guys kind of full ramping it up already?
Oh, another good one. So our spring was probably the best spring we've had, just from the fact that we haven't had a starting quarterback for 2 years in a row.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll start there, because that's every year we've had a different quarterback, and so this is the first year we're able to have the same guy under, and this is his first spring. He was TJ Tyler Jackson. It was his first spring he was able to be with us, so that was nice. This is the first year we've had the same O-line coach, and Coach Crane. We've had 3 different O-line coaches since we've been here. Coach Cobb's been here since the beginning, but this is his second year as our defensive coordinator. So that continuity has been good. Mm-hmm. So it's just a matter of, not only the kids being in the same spot, the coaches being in the same spot. And so that has been really good. So this spring, we weren't having to learn a new defense or, break in new players on offense or defense. We were able to just kind of get back to the basics, get back to, how we practice, how we do things. And we were able to kind of roll a little bit, which was nice. So, and that has carried over into the summer. We've been rolling. This past week, we've had 3 7-on-7s. We went to King of the Hill at UNC and honestly did really, really good there. That was a lot of fun. I think the kids really enjoyed that. We had the big one at Williams, the big FCA one. And, so we've been doing a lot of 7-on-7, a lot of hitting the weight room, a lot of conditioning, and it's just been a great carryover from the spring.
Yeah, a lot of reps this summer.
That's
and this
right.
Spring. Now, you talked about it there, TJ Tyler Jackson. What does it do for you as a coach to know now you do have a starting quarterback coming back for the second year in a row, and not just any starting quarterback, a pretty darn good one, if I do say so myself?
Yeah, I'm a little biased. That joker's bad. There's no way to describe him. He's a bad mamma jamma. And he can hurt you with his arm. He can hurt you with his legs. And I think that part's a little underrated. But, he got thrown in the fire right from the beginning, and took him a little bit to settle in and kind of figure out what we're doing. But the kid threw for almost we ain't been here long, but he's got every passing record we have. And I think as he continues, that's just going to get better and better. But he has some guys he can throw to, and some guys moving up they're really excited about. And to me, it all starts with them big boys up front, and that's going to be a really good group coming back. So you got to protect them, and just having him back and having us being on the same page. We did a lot this spring in the film room, and just getting his mental part. The kid's really sharp. He is a very football-oriented kid, even though he loves that baseball too.
Well, that makes sense, and he's quite good at that on that side of the field as well when it comes to that sport. He can do it all. I know it, like I say, it adds that sense of comfortability to you to have that security blanket kind of especially at that quarterback field general type position. And we'll touch more on the offense here in just a minute. I know everybody is excited about that's where all your fun toys are.
That's
right. But
right.
when we talk about some production from last season, when we touch back on that, some of your biggest losses in terms of guys that have moved on came on the defensive side of the ball. A quality defense, one that gave up just 20 points per game last season. How have those younger guys who've got to fill those roles from some of the seniors that have moved on, how they looked over the summer, and how do you expect them to kind of step into their roles off the field as well?
Yeah, I hate naming names because somebody's mama's going to say, "You forgot my baby, coach." But I'm going to apologize to the mamas now. We'll get it right. But We did lose a lot of up front on defense, but we return some kids that got a lot of playing time, and the big two in the middle is the ones, Aiden Pack and Cookie,
Mm-hmm.
Austin Cook. Those two had a lot of tackles, a lot of production for us, and so Zayden Harris, senior, Rodney Pringle, and then we got a freshman. We just call him Big Red. He was our JV quarterback, running back. He's actually related to the Pepe and those guys over at
Mm-hmm.
Orange. So he's got that linebacker mentality in him as well. So those three will be kind of spearheading that. We had two guys come in that we're really excited about, Brandon Lindsay and Caden McIver.
Mm-hmm.
They came over from the other side of town. They moved over and just have kind of settled right in and not missed a beat. We got our returner, Alex Parrish, on the other corner, who got thrown in as a sophomore and had a really good year. Quickums is our other free safety, along with Jace Evans. And then we got a kid that didn't play last year. He played as a sophomore, um, Isaiah Toomey, and then Donato, and those guys will be fighting for that spot. But up front, you got Ja Gooseby, who's been a 4-year guy. He played the first 2 years on offensive line, and we just kind of this year we're going to be able to leave him alone on the defensive side. Drew Easter's the other guy on the other side that he's one of those two-way guys for us. And then we're going to break in a new guy named Big Mo and Christian. Was Christian Woods. Those guys will be kind of going up front, and we'll see what they can do as we get along. But and the key for us is just building depth, and that's kind of like I said, what was that big change in 5A, and those guys that weren't named, not saying they're not important because they are, but there's a lot of kids that we feel like that were able to get some playing time in spots last year that we're going to be counting on a lot this year. So, like I said, having the same coordinator back, having the same DB coach, D-line, our coaching continuity's been good, and so we're really excited about to get rolling.
Now, with your reputation, coach, this is just a question I'm always interested in. With your reputation as such an offensive guy, obviously play caller over there, how hands-on are you with the defense as a head coach?
Uh, one thing I've always learned and is let your coaches coach.
Mm-hmm.
And Coach Cobb is been hired to be our DC. I give him my 2 cents when I see something because we always kind of go, hey, well, how would you attack this? And hey, coach, if I line up like this, how would you align to it? So we do a lot of going back and forth, and so I think that's good for him. And then he's Coach Cobb was an offensive guy too when he was at BY, so he kind of throws things I haven't thought about as well. But the thing I really love about our coaching staff is there's no me guys. And I've been on staffs where, it's just offense versus defense, or it's just me versus you. And it's not like that. I think our guys, our defensive coaches use our terminology we use on offense. So the way we call our route system or the way we run our run game, they're using that same terminology on their side. So the kids kind of know what's going on. If we say power, they're running, whatever number system we use, they're using that same parallel terminology, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I feel like on my end, I throw my 2 cents. I kind of let those guys do what they got to do, and if I see something, I definitely point it out to any of them. And but again, I let those guys kind of do their thing because that's what they get paid to do.
Right, and you've got enough confidence in them to kind of, like you say, step back and let them do their thing. You be the head coach and help out on the other side of the ball. Speaking of that other side of the ball, Coach, I told you we'd get to it. I don't think it would be crazy to call the Stallions offense last year a high-powered offense. You scored 37.5 points per game, only held under 22 times all year long. We've already talked about you get your quarterback Tyler Jackson back. Your leading rusher DJ Callis is returning. Your two top leading receivers come back. You get tight end Drew Easter back, an FIU commit. And we've recently learned this summer that you've now got your own jet. So my question to you is, how good can that Stallion offense be this year?
True, man, that's a great question. If we were just playing pretty boy 7-on-7 like we're doing this summer, I think we'd be pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
But the game is won and lost with them big boys up front. So we did lose three seniors up front. Jabril Bird Marshall will be a 3-year starter for us, 4-year guy in our program. So he's been our left tackle and a staple there. He's getting a lot of offers as well. Some mid-major schools. Very excited about him. And then a bunch of guys that moved up from our JV team. We're really counting on Aiden Bustos was our right tackle that started last year. So the other three right now, we're looking at Cole Eish as our left guard. Pedro, he's been our center. He started last year and broke his leg, but he's been back healthy and really, really strong. And an awesome battle has been another guy that we're counting on to anchor that up front. So we feel really strong about our up front guys. But to answer your question, we got a lot of our production back. Logan had a breakout year. He's on paper, our leading receiver coming back. Tay McMillan, big play. Tay is a little bitty jitterbug for us. Major Hubbard, which we can put him anywhere. He can play X, Y, Z, H.
He's got
And
my favorite
then,
name in the conference, by the way.
yeah. And then, everybody knows about Big Drew. We're really excited about Drew. Again, another 4-year guy going both ways, kind of does it all. He's going to play some H-back, some tight end. He's going to be in a little expanded role with things we can do for him. And then, Jet's the one getting all the press, but, Jet is a very humble kid right now, and he knows that there's only one football, and all of those guys really need to touch it. And I think that so far, we haven't done anything yet, but so far those guys know that, when their time comes, they're going to make the most of it. And if their buddy's getting it, then they're going to be happy for them. So far, so good with that. And I think, again, Tyler has done a really good job distributing the ball. And, of course, DJ, another one, Callis, he's been our leading rusher for the last few years, and he's just a freaking man among boys. And right now we got Toomey kind of backing him up and a two-back set that we can use. And so we're just trying to build depth in those positions. And, really excited about our offense, but we're really going to see how this thing takes us.
Yep. All about, like you said, they're kind of all about keeping Jackson upright, keeping him on his feet, and making sure it can go from there. So as the old adage always goes, it starts in the trenches. So it'll be interesting to see how you guys unfold from there.
That's where it's won and lost. And like I said, if we were just playing pretty boy 7-on-7, I think we'd be pretty good. But we feel pretty good about our offense. And, defensively, we've been stressing takeaways this summer. And so that's something very big that we've been working on because we didn't create a whole lot of them last year. And so just things that we feel like we can get better at. That's what we've been working on and just fine tuning things. So it's been a really good summer for us.
Right. Well, Coach, this has been awesome. I want to thank you again. I want to wrap up here. Something you've talked about a couple times. Your first senior class is on their way through now, your first group of 4-year guys, and you mentioned they started on varsity, thrown right into the fire. Have you had the conversation with them, or do you think it's even going to be necessary for you to have the conversation about the sense of pride they're taking into their final year? This is, back to that foundation, this would be them laying their foundation on their way out. What kind of pride do they have going into their senior year, something they can really put their name on one last time?
Ooh, that's a good one, boy. You remember, we've said it even when you played, Vance. It goes like that.
Yep.
It goes so fast.
And
I just remember, you don't. And I remember when these guys walked in, we had our first meeting at Hawfields Middle School, and we didn't even know if we were going to have a JV team. We didn't know anything. And so I just remember Drew was like 6'2" and maybe 180 pounds, and now he's 6'4", 240.
Yep.
And just watching, bodies change, their mental changes. And these guys everybody has pride in the county, man. So, when you go to Tanger Outlets in Mebane, or you go to Alamance Crossing over in Burlington and you're wearing your stuff, you want to make sure that you was the guy. And, if you lost to Williams, you ain't going to Mayberry. You just going to leave that side alone. But if you win, you're going to wear it over there. And if you beat the guys over at Western and you go to Alamance Crossing, you're going to wear your Southeast stuff. And so I think everybody around's got that kind of pride. Everybody's interviews that I listen to, everybody thinks they're going to be good. And that's what's great, because everybody starts off 0-0. Yep. And nobody knows till August 21? What you really got. And you still don't know till halfway through the year. But, to answer your question, it just goes so fast. And, these guys know, a foundation has been laid for Stallion football. We got a brand of football that we really enjoy. We like to play fast. We try to come at you hard, and win or lose, we want to know. We want the other team to know, hey, that was a good football team over there,
Yeah.
and they did it the right way. So that's something that we hang our hat on a lot. We try to be smart and we try to be tough and we try to stay together and we try to play disciplined football, and that's something we really stress to these guys, and for 4 years now, and I think it's sometimes it sinks in a little more than others, and to these seniors, I think this year is definitely going to mean something to them.
Yeah. Well, you talked about it there. The optimism throughout Alamance County for football season, it runs deep. A good bit of that optimism stems from what you guys are going to do over there at Southeast Alamance. I know we're excited to watch. We can't wait for August to get here and football season to finally unfold. Coach, thanks so much for sitting down with us. As always, we appreciate you and can't wait to see what the Stallions have in their store for us this season.
Hey, and I just want to say again, thank you for WBAG and you guys. When you come over, you guys always do a fantastic job of covering sports in our area. We have we're very lucky to have this. Not everywhere does this, and not everywhere, is able to kind of get high school going. What is it, June 25th, and we're talking football on the radio and on YouTube, and that's just a credit to you guys wanting to get out there and cover our sports in our area, because I think our county is going to be very competitive this year.
I agree.
Cummins is getting things rolling. Western's, got a new coach, and they're young and they're excited. Eastern's going to be Eastern, and Southern, to me, them and Williams,
Yeah,
respectfully, they're the teams to beat,
I
and
agree.
they've been the teams to beat, and everybody's trying to catch them. And so, here we are. We're going to try and give everything we got, and I wish everybody a good year, and I hope everybody wins them all but one, and that's the one when we play them. So,
That's it.
but again, thank you for what you guys do for covering. It's been cool listening just to these interviews, and every coach, every school has a pride in their team and their community, and that's what this is all about. Is we think what we're doing is great, and everybody at Southern thinks what they're doing is great, and on throughout the county, and I think that's the way it should be. Is
Yep.
and you guys are doing a great job of letting people know there's great kids, there's great coaches, there's great communities, and most importantly, there's great support all throughout here. And so, again, thank you for what you guys are doing. This has been awesome.
Well, not a problem, Coach. It's our pleasure. We enjoy it. And like I say, we can't wait. Looking forward to getting the pads strapped on and getting there on August 21st. It's going to be a fun season, and we're looking very forward to it.
Yes, sir, man. Thank you again, and go Stallions, baby.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.